Good morning, Richard Calhoun, Creekside Realty, here to discuss week 47 in the Bay Area real estate marketplace. First slide is the gray line. That's the active inventory. You can see we're somewhere above 33,000. We're below 4,000, which is up here. It's in a downward trend. It typically happens in a downward trend at this time of the year. We will see that later on. You can come back here to 2019, our last somewhat normal year, and you can see the trend that it normally falls. In fact, you can see that particular year, it started falling just about October 1st and came down. This year, we had a little bit more of a plateau going into October 1st, but maybe somewhere around October 10th or something like that is when inventory really started to drop. Next slide is number of offers, also red on the right-hand side of the axis. And you can see the number of offers is somewhere right around just above 2,000. You can see it's come down a little bit just probably the last week. And just to be clear, this is where I use my real estate fiscal year of March 1st through February 27th. And I reset every year. So this data is like through Tuesday. And then I get updated through Friday with one data point. So when you look at the number of offers on a Friday, that's going to be different than the number of offers on a Tuesday, because on Tuesday, you're basically a week later. I don't know how much of this is really a change in the marketplace and how much of this is just statistical fluctuation during the week. Now we're up at the blue line, DUI. DUI is the days of unsold inventory. That's red off the left-hand side. That's the most significant indicator. You're basically at 50 days. That basically says if you have no more inventory come on the marketplace, it would take 50 days to sell your existing inventory at the existing rate of sales. So it's basically your supply-demand ratio, which is what in a free economy is supposed to determine future pricing. As supply goes up, price goes down. As demand goes up, price goes up. Now you're looking at DUI of each county. You can see all 4 counties have dropped down fairly significantly. You can see there's a little perturbation, just that last data point on each one of those. DUI typically falls going into a holiday and then increases afterwards and then normalizes again. You can see that typically, like going back to 2019, you can see DUI came down. So you can see DUI normally came back down, and you can see this might have been the same week we're in now. So it was a lower slope in 2019, where this year it's actually an upslope. And the 4 counties that we're looking at is Santa Clara County in the blue, Alameda County is in the dark orange, Contra Costa County is in the gray, and San Mateo County is the light yellow. And that will be constant when you're seeing the 4 county graphs. Here's the magnitude overbidding. This is how much pressure the buyer is feeling. And noteworthy, in my opinion, is look at San Mateo County. All the counties came down dramatically. We did this little plateau here, but for the last couple weeks, maybe last week in October through now, San Mateo County has been dropping down. And, it's not a huge drop down, but it's noticeable when the other counties are basically at a plateau. Alameda County went up and then down a little bit, but basically flat. Santa Clara County has been the flattest. It had been increasing a little bit, and Contra Costa County has been on a slower decrease, but it's lost less over a longer period of time than San Mateo County, that had been sort of a flat plateau and then a more significant drop off. That caught my attention. Don't know the significance of it. It's something worth keeping an eye on. And remember, this requires closed data. So this is going back 5 weeks plus the length of escrow, about another 5 weeks. So you're going back almost 10 weeks in the change to the marketplace. Now we're changing over a different look. Each line on here is a different week, and it represents the sale price to list price distribution. The dotted lines, which are mostly at the top here, are the oldest, and they go back a full year, and initially they're each month. And then the dashed lines are down here mostly. You got one dashed line here, and those are weeks starting at, I think, week 13. And one thing that noteworthy, there should be, if you go up here and count, there's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dashed lines. And yet when you look at the graph, you see 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are the other 3? They're all right on top of the purple line, as well as the half dozen solid lines. That's why I have both the red up improving arrow and the blue deteriorating arrow. You're basically in a plateau. There's really been no change in the overbidding that people are seeing between the 4 counties and single family homes. This is the worst week we ever had back in November 30th of 2000. and 1, and this is the best week we ever had, which was March 26th of 2022, so just earlier this year. Here is looking at price, and I put in the horizontal line so you can see where the price is back to. San Mateo County is back the furthest, but they're all fairly close together. They're all right around the April 1st timeframe. If you look at Alameda County current price is below where it was in 2021. And if you go to Contra Costa County, it's exactly where it was in 2021. The same with Santa Clara County. San Mateo County is lower than it was in 2021. So there's a difference. I've also pointed out last week on how close Santa Clara County and San Mateo County pricing got here. The separation is a little bit bigger, but it still appears to me to be closer together now than it has been historically. Here is looking at the log scale, and the log scale is nice because it gives you the slope is the rate of appreciation. So when you have a horizontal line here, you have no appreciation, but this slope right there would be the appreciation, and you can see more easily how close together County and San Mateo County got to each other. The vertical spacing should stay the same proportionally as you go back if you have uniform appreciation, which is what you would expect normally. This tends to suggest to me that San Mateo County did worse than Santa Clara County, and Santa Clara County, Contra Costa County, and Alameda County all look like they did roughly the same. For whatever reason, in the last year or so, San Mateo County has not been doing as well as the other counties. Here is actually the raw numbers. I try to put the significant ones in green. Number of new listings is down dramatically, so I'll just point that out. That's because the holidays. Most sellers try to avoid going on the market going into a holiday because there's less activity. So the number of new listings this past week was way down, almost 60% across the board. The best showing is San Mateo County condos at only down 27%. The worst was Alameda County condos at 70%. But overall, you can see condos is at 57%, and coincidentally, overall, single-family homes is down 57%. Then the number of active listings, this is the total inventory that was available, a much more stable index, sort of like the equivalent of my 5-week index when I'm looking at offers accepted. Here, you're down 5.5% for single-family homes and down 7.5% for condos and townhouses, with a little variation between 6.5% and 10% for single-family homes. Then if you look at offers are down dramatically last week. Again, that's the holiday, basically the lack of new inventory. New inventory coming on the market's down 60%, but the number of new offers is only down 20%. So some of the buyers last week went back and bought some inventory that had been sitting around for a little bit. I don't really green this data, and the reason I don't green it is because 1-week data isn't very statistically significant. So we'll move down to the 5-week data, and here you can see the 5-week data is down around 5%, and that's the number of offers accepted in the last week. And again, that's because you're going into the end of the year. As you get to, I think typically somewhere around the first week in January, maybe as late as January 19th, tends to have the lowest number of offers over the previous 5 weeks. When you're looking now, you have 5 weeks of time, so you're going back to you're going back past Halloween. But when you get to middle of January and you go back 5 weeks, you're seeing the impact of both Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, and all the end of the year holidays, New Year's including. This number to be down is not surprising. The DUI is down a little bit, down 1.8, call it 2 days. San Mateo County is sort of noteworthy. It's down 8 days. And the reason for that is the number of offers accepted. We were talking about overall, it was down 20%. San Mateo County was down 0. And I actually manually checked my data. This is accurate. We had sold the same number of homes. The question becomes, is this week higher or was last week lower? And I actually think last week was lower, but I did not have time to research that out. DUI this week is basically somewhere around 52 days overall. Low is 46, high is 58 for single family homes. So the best is Alameda County and the worst is Contra Costa. So you have two East Bay communities that are right next to each other that are basically on the opposite extremes. But then you sort of had the same thing on the peninsula. Santa Clara County at 48, and at the opposite end is San Mateo County at 57. 1. So you're basically having a significant difference in DUI just as you go over the county lines. So how real is that? And when we get to the heat maps later on, you'll see that to some degree, it's actually pretty accurate. 1-week closings, but we'll jump down to 5-week closings. Days on market is 16 for single family homes. Frequency of overbidding 40%. You can see it goes from a low of 31% in San Mateo County. So San Mateo County is doing the worst. Alameda County at 47, almost 48 is doing the best. The average is right about 100%, but again, San Mateo County is doing the worst at basically 99, and Alameda County is sort of doing the best at about almost 104%. On appreciation, sort of the same pattern. San Mateo County doing the worst, Alameda County doing the best. What we've been talking about is the Bay Area data, focusing on the single family. That table shows the condo data in case you're interested. I'm looking at 4 counties, which are Santa Clara County, Alameda, Contra Costa, San Mateo County. I believe that the 5-week reference data is more significant. And when I'm comparing it to your median, the 10 percentile, median percentile, and 90 percentile for reference, I'm using the 2014 through 2021 timeframe. Get any questions ready for me? The green is what I call my root URL. That gets you to the YouTube archive. If you add in 2022 for this year, 2023 for next year, you get the Saturday night presentation live. The handout is posted. You add in the letter H for handout, 2022 for the year, 11 for the month, and 26 for the day, and any specific episode, you just put in the year, month, date code. And here's my contact information. With that, let me pause and see if I have anyone unmuting themselves to ask a question. Not seeing any unmuted mics. I will continue. And also, just FYI, next to me, I have my other computer up. So if you do have a question and you don't want to air it on live, you can send me an email at creeksiderealty@gmail.com, and I'll try to keep an eye on it. That's actually easier than chat because I hide the controls so that I can get full screen viewing. Now what we're looking at is DUI. DUI is days of unsold inventory. This would be the 10 percentile, the lowest DUI. That's a really hot marketplace. The black line is the median. That's where you'd expect DUI to be. And the blue line is the 90 percentile, which is sort of the worst you'd expect to have. The purple is our actual data. So you can see we're having a slower than you'd expect. So we're having a slower year this year in 2022 than we did from 2014 through 2021. One question that came up last week was, how far should I go back? I'm going back to 2019, and the request was to go back further. I have the data through 2014, so it's really easy to go back to 2014, but then you lose a lot of your horizontal resolution. So if anyone has a year not too much further back than 19 that you'd like to see, or if you'd like me to flash the 14 data on the screen as well, like I did in my first couple weeks, I'm willing to try to do that. I did this to save time and have more time to talk about it, but you can see DUI ramped up and is improving. It normally improves at this time of the year. So the real key is it improving more than it normally does? And it's really hard to tell from this graph, which is why I do some of the deltas. So here's the delta. Now what you're doing is you take DUI for the 4-county area, subtracting it from the median DUI for that period of time. And you can see just before October 1st, we were having an absolutely normal expected year, but that was after being above where you'd expect it to be. And now we're back above. So we did sort of a yo-yo. If you go back to the beginning of this year, we were slowing down a little bit. And then basically right around April 1st, we started to slow down dramatically. We got to July and we had a little bit of a plateau. Middle of July through almost the end of September, the 3rd week in September was an improvement. Since the 3rd week in September, we went the other direction and did a major slowdown. We're now doing a little bit of improvement again. Whether this will increase or not, who knows? The way you read this is right now you're basically have a DUI that's 20 days greater than you'd expect. Now you expect DUI to be well, a balanced market is between 40 and 80. Using my reference years of 2014 through 2021, the DUI you'd expect varies throughout the year, but it's probably some number around 38. If you add 20 or just a little bit above 20, you're approaching almost 60 days of DUI, and we'll see how good my memory is. Here's the DUI for each county. You got Contra Costa County up here at 60, but some of your other counties, specifically Alameda County and Santa Clara County. It's really hard to see Santa Clara County. Last week I made it bolder so you could see it. It's down here around 45 days, and then it looks like we're having San Mateo County come in here potentially. I see something right there, right around 48 days. So you have 3 counties that are between 45 and 50, and Contra Costa County is the slow county at around 60 days. Here's the number of offers accepted. You can see that there normally drops down. You can see it drop down this year, but earlier this week we were actually improving. So you were improving, you turned around, but so you normally have a general slope down. So this was the improving DUI or improving number of offers. As the number of offers go up, that's a good thing, more activity. But you can see the drop down here historically is a little bit more severe than what we are seeing this year in the purple. Same concept now where you take the offers accepted for the 4 county areas and compare it to the median. That would be the black horizontal line. The actual data is down here. So we were coming up, but we're 1,000 units short of where you'd expect it to be. If we're selling at this time of year roughly 4,300 homes, we're selling 3,300. And I think that's closer to where the numbers are. I don't look at raw count too much. I look at more comparisons, which is why I have so many different comparisons. Here is the number of offers accepted for single family homes only. This is clearly San Mateo County because San Mateo County is the smallest county and it typically has the least number of offers. So we know this is San Mateo County. It's down around 300 homes selling last week. Then you have Santa Clara County just under 600, called 550, maybe even 575. Here is Contra Costa in the gray. That's probably somewhere around 633. And then finally you get, actually it's more like 675. I misread my graph. And then you have Alameda County somewhere around 725. Market share. This market share is accurate. That's actually real interesting. We'll see. We'll have a problem later on. This market share appears to be accurate. It may be back to Tuesday. You have some areas going up, some areas going down, but together they should add 100%. These two are very close to 30, so that's 60. This is over 25, so that's 85 plus a couple here and a couple there, so maybe 89. And then you're down here at somewhere around 12, so I'm actually getting 101. I will represent those most likely add up to the 100% that they should. Here's active inventory for the different counties, all the counties in the purple compared to the 10 percentile in red. So this is the least inventory you'd expect. The black line right here as you'd expect, and you can see you're almost right on it. The blue line is the most inventory you'd expect. You can see they're all dropping down at this time of the year. That's very typical. You can see the drop down typically starts about October 1st. We were a little delayed this year. This is where you're taking the 4 county active listing and subtracting it from the 4 county median, which would be basically November 26th of every year from 2014 through 2021. I do not include the current year, so you can be above or below the worst year. Otherwise, you would only equal it, and it wouldn't be, in my opinion, as illustrative. So you can see that although we're just above 100% of the inventory, so we have a little bit of a surplus, not very much, but the speed at which we're going through that is an indication that it may continue. But you can also see the market tends to change on a dime. You're going up, and then boom, you're going down. You're going up, and then you're going down. So the fact that you're going up this week doesn't mean we won't be going down in next week. Here's the magnitude overbidding. This is where I do paired. The outer 2 blue lines are 2.5 percentile and 97.5 percentile. So 95% of the offers that are accepted that closed last week were between these ranges. And that's somewhere between 87% and call it about 127%. Then you move into the gray lines, and they're your 10 percentile and 90 percentile. So 80% of the homes are between the gray lines. Green lines are 25 percentile and 75 percentile. So 50% of the homes are between the 2 green lines. The dark green line is the median. The dash green line is your average. So you can see for the most part that's been pretty flat. Here's where you look at the delta for the whole county. So you take the 4 county overbidding, subtract it from the median for the 14 through 21 year, and you have less overbidding now than you expect, but it's very close. Here's 1%, so it's less than 0.5% less than the overbidding you'd expect. Here's the magnitude of overbidding for each county. Now note San Mateo County. Look how much it's dropped. The other three counties are pretty horizontal. Contra Costa County in the gray, Santa Clara County in the blue are pretty horizontal and almost right at 100% of overbidding. So sellers are getting exactly what you expect. Alameda County is the best out of the four counties, and it's up almost at 104%. San Mateo County is the worst at about 99%, but more significant, in my opinion, is the significant drop from somewhere around 101, maybe 103/4 to somewhere around 99% when no other county is dropping like that. So something happened in San Mateo County 5 weeks ago, such that the buyers felt that they could get away with not offering as much in overbidding. Here's the delta overbidding for each county. So this is where you're comparing each individual county to where you'd expect to be. If you were having a normal year for that county, you'd be on the black line. So you can see San Mateo County is pulling away from Santa Mateo County normal. You'd expect San Mateo County to be here. So if you're below, you'd expect it to be a horizontal line. And notice that again, three counties are basically more or less horizontal since basically October 1st. And sorry, it's not showing the dates down here. Oh, it's showing the dates right here since October 1st. But look at San Mateo County. It's really taken a nosedive, and I do not know why. Now we're looking at the overbidding for each week. So the purple line is the current week. This line here, the dotted line, is a year ago. Best line we ever had, which was April 12th of this year. And the worst line we ever had, which was November 30th of 2001. We'll start a little automatic slide where we go back initially each month. Then we start, when we hit 13 weeks, we go back by week. So you can see a little bit of improvement, very little improvement. Now we're going to have a significant improvement, another significant improvement way up here. Now we're going to be on the red dotted line right here, which is why I did the best line instead of over here. Now you're coming down, and I don't know which of those two, down and way down 3 months ago, and that's where we changed now to weeks. You can see that one, and now I can't see the new flashes. If you look up here and down over here, you'll occasionally see a new line getting added on there, but the lines are there. You can see one coming, a solid line down here. You can see a solid line right there. The blue line just got added on top of the sort of orange. Now we got a green line. So they're all on top of one another, which is why I have both the blue down arrow and the red improving arrow. You're basically at a plateau where the buyers are not feeling any sense that they can overbid more or they can overbid less. And this is the four county area. So that's contradictory a little bit or different than what's going on in San Mateo County, where the buyers clearly are offering less of an overbid. Now we're moving to the frequency overbidding. We're looking at those where the overbidding is greater than 100%, and you're basically down here at 40%. So 40% of the sellers are getting more than their asking price. Here is where sellers are getting less than their asking price. Roughly 50% of the sellers are getting less than their asking price. That adds up to 90%. So of course, down here in the bold gray line is the sellers that are getting exactly their asking price, and that's the missing 10%. So now we've had 90% plus 10 is 100% of your inventory, which is what you'd expect. Here's the overbid frequency. Now look at San Mateo County. San Mateo County went from something like 46% overbidding sometime probably like 3/4 of the way through October, call it October 21st or whatever you want to do. And now you're all the way down here and you're less than 35%. And, next week it may be below 30%. So you can see the frequency of overbidding in San Mateo County is just dropping like a rock, where the other counties are more or less at a plateau. Something is different about San Mateo County. And here you're seeing it again. This is comparing the frequency of overbidding to the county overbidding. So now San Mateo County overbidding frequency is way less than the four counties. Santa Clara County is very close to the four counties. Contra Costa County is less than the four counties. It dropped earlier in the year. And Alameda County is the one county that's doing significantly better. San Mateo County is fairly small. So the way I read this is Contra Costa County and San Mateo County added up together is about the same difference as Alameda County. Alameda County is up at almost 7% above, and these are more like 6%. So the weighted average is going to come out, get right back to the line, because Santa Clara County is pretty close to the line. So again, you'd be on the black horizontal line. If you're having a normal year, you can see that Alameda County is somewhat having a normal year, somewhat improving, but better than you'd expect. Contra Costa is worse and improving. San Mateo County was better and now worse and dropping like a lead balloon. And I don't understand that. It appears to be real. It's what the buyers are sensing out there in the marketplace when they're buying. Now we're looking at the number of offers accepted, and I only have 10 years worth of data up here. The blue is the worst year that's showing, red is the best year showing, the yellow is the current year, and it's simply the number of offers in the 1 week period of time for the 4-county area. So this year we did 423. Our worst year was back in 2007 at 393. So we're having the 24th worst year out of 25. Last week we're at 583. You're the 24th. I would actually call that the worst. The reason I'm calling that the worst, and that's why it's highlighted blue, is back in 2007, all those transactions are in the book. That number's rock solid. It's not going to change. Offers accepted just a week ago, from 8 days to 14 days ago, those transactions still have a chance to fall out, and they will fall out. And all you have to do is lose 6 transactions, and this number is going to be lower than my previous record low. I'm pretty confident when this settles out in a week or two, this number here, the 583, will go below 578. Now, next week, it may be pretty close to 583, but the week after that is when I expect to see the TFT starting to show up. Then just 2 weeks ago, at 553, we're below where we were in 2007. So that was absolutely the worst year. Now at 423, will we catch 393? It's a tough call. We might, but I'm not willing to call it this early. So that's why it's not blue. I think this will probably come in close because you're going to have more TFTs, but you're also going to have more late reports. Like, we're going to get a fair number of additional numbers next week. So this 423 next week, I would expect to go up before it starts going down. It's just the way that agents report transactions late, and then you have transactions that fail. Now we're going to be looking at what I call blended data. It's single family homes, condos, and townhouses, San Mateo County and Santa Clara County 5-week data. Here's your Santa Clara County single family homes, San Mateo County single family homes, Santa Clara County condos, and finally San Mateo County condos. Noteworthy is Foster City. Look how rapidly it went from a balanced marketplace to a marketplace. Keep in mind those San Mateo Coast, Half Moon Bay, El Grande, those areas over there don't have a lot of inventory. It's subject to a lot of fluctuation. So this is probably more statistical fluctuation, but it's clearly an indication of what the buyers are sensing. So this is DUI, and the redder the color is, the hotter the marketplace is, the more the blue, the cooler the marketplace is. I did make an adjustment in my scale right about here. So these dark blues here are probably a marketplace in these lighter blues because I made an adjustment to my scale, which I try to avoid doing, but I felt I had to do it for the long-term wealth of the data. Now, here is very interesting. Days on sold inventory, key indicator. How quick is the marketplace? Look at most of Santa Clara County. Most of it's got a color of pink. And you can see it's got 33 to 37 days on sold inventory. That is not a bad marketplace. Now, you have other areas like South County at 71 days, East San Jose, the affordable areas at 51, Saratoga, Los Gatos at 70, Palo Alto, Los Altos at 70. So you have some cool areas. And, they're showing up in white because I consider 40 to 80 being balanced. So you have 4 areas that are balanced, but then you have 3 areas that are basically definitely red. You go to San Mateo County and you have balanced areas, but instead of having hot areas, you have cold areas. Here's your Half Moon Bay area, and here's your Atherton area. You can see that is huge, 152 days on sold inventory. And that jumped up dramatically from last week. And I think that's just the statistical fluctuation when you have low number of offers. And that's something we're going to unfortunately start to see more and more often in larger geographical areas. As we're selling fewer homes, as we're having record low number of offers accepted, my database becomes smaller, and it's already nervously small to be accurate data. Now you're looking at the magnitude of overbidding. The blue is sellers getting 99% or less of their asking price. Red in color is getting more than their asking price. So you can see Cupertino at 105%. 5%. So yes, in this marketplace, they're getting 5% above their asking price. Cambrian, Campbell, Santa Clara, Willow Glen, essentially just getting right at their asking price, as well as the Milpitas area. So you can look up and down, but generally the bluer the color, the more it favors the buyers. Here's the frequency of overbidding, how common is overbidding. One area here is above 50%, Cupertino, so it's starting to be pink. The other areas are below, and you can see San Mateo County Coast is only 15% of the sellers are getting more than their asking price. And that's basically where I go saturated blue, because it rarely goes below 15%. And that's because if you had 10 offers and only houses that got accepted, only one of those 10 have to go above asking price. And that happens almost in any marketplace, including 2007. Here's looking at sold price. This is not the speed of the marketplace, but your median price is set by Redwood City. Red colors are above that median, blue colors are below. So you can see the more affordable areas by going to the dark blue areas. The number in the middle is the median, which is what sets the color. The number to the right is the 10 percentile number, the cheapest in the area, and the number to the right is the most expensive, the 90 percentile for that given area. Here's a recap of the market conditions in each of the different micro market areas, as well as the price. So you can start over here and find out your price range, and then find out what conditions are the area you're looking in, and look at what the conditions are. And you can see that they tend to be either blue or they tend to be red. Now there is some crossover because you go from red to white. Each indicator has different indicators, and DUI is current, where this is based on closed data. These two are going to be more closely linked than DUI in these two. And again, there is no link whatsoever between price and marketplace. Here's the key things. The only thing that's in a seller's marketplace is the lack of inventory in Santa Clara County. We're at 94% of the inventory you'd expect. San Mateo County is at 158%. Santa Clara County condos is at 123%. Bay Cities is at 263. DUI is all balanced, a high of 70, a low of 48. Your magnitude overbidding is mostly in a buyer's marketplace, being below 99, basically right at 99 and right at 98 and at 100%. Frequency of overbidding, again, mostly in a buyer's marketplace. Only Santa Clara County single-family homes is sort of in a balanced marketplace. And then appreciation, 17% appreciation for 2 years, because this is over the entire 2020 calendar year, is not bad. But you can't say that we're in a hot marketplace when you had 24% appreciation a year ago and 44% appreciation earlier this year. When you go from here to here, I don't know what the numbers work out to be, but you've lost about 30% on a basis of 43, and I think that's about 2/3. You've lost 2/3 of the 43, so you've lost about 30% appreciation. Now we're not comparing apples and apples, because this is labeled November data, and all these other dates back here are November 5th. This clearly is only through midnight last night, reported today. So these are reported on the 6th. This is going to be reported today on the 26th, so it's only through the 25th. Your average days on market is up there in line with everything else, but now look at your median, 43. Getting towards the high side of recent years, even back here, not outrageously high. Inventory, 751, looks in line for a lot of the years, which is what we're seeing, because this is Santa Clara County single-family home data only. Now we're looking at offers accepted. Median days on market, 18, in line with what you have. But look at DUI, this is the important indicator, 48. You come back, you had 53, 52 in 18, but that's the only year that you were here. So you have to go all the way back to 2011 or 2018, and a little bit into 19 were a little bit of a slow year at different times in the year. It wasn't the large change that we saw. Now you look at number of offers accepted, 549. You're not going to see a number that low, even when you come all the way back here to 2007. You're at 672. Look at it, sales per day. 19 homes per day. Here you're under 16 homes per day. So that's the real story. It's the volume of transactions that is really impacting the marketplace more than anything else. Overbidding, 100.1%. You can see that's pretty low. Most of the time you're over 100%. If I was picking a number real quick, I'd pick like 102, with some exceptionally high years being 2017 and 2021. Frequency orbiting, 38%. Again, that's a pretty low number. There's some years back here where you're in the same magnitude. And then the median price, you're at 1,600,000. You were at 1,660,000 last year. All three categories are down from a year ago. And then this is for people that like to compare apples and apples. It's October data. I don't like this per se because you're looking in the rearview mirror, and I like to understand what the market's doing right now. And with that, that's what you see if you log on early. Back to my URLs and back to any questions. So I'll flip over and see if anyone's got any questions. Not seeing any unmuted mics. Have a good week, everybody. See you next week. Take care. Bye for now.